If you're an American dreaming of a European escape, you might want to check your visa status. Because in 2025, several European countries are tightening their immigration policies, making it harder for Americans to stay, or outright kicking them out. Whether it's due to stricter visa rules, economic struggles, or political tensions, these countries are sending a clear message: time's up. So, which European nations are closing their doors to Americans this year? Let's dive in. 10. The Netherlands. The Dutch have had enough. As of 2025, the Netherlands is enforcing tougher immigration policies, especially for non-EU nationals, including Americans. The government has already been cracking down on digital nomads and expats who aren't contributing enough to the economy. One major change? The Netherlands is raising the financial requirements for residency permits. If you're an American hoping to move here, you now need to prove a much higher income threshold. On top of that, Amsterdam has been actively discouraging foreigners from settling due to overcrowding and housing shortages. If you're an American overstaying your visa or working under the table, don't be surprised if you get a notice to leave. 9. Portugal. Once a haven for American retirees and remote workers, Portugal is now making big changes. The country's popular Golden Visa program, which allowed wealthy foreigners to gain residency through investments, has been scrapped for real estate buyers. Why? Because locals are fed up with skyrocketing housing prices. Many blame foreign investors, including a large number of Americans, for driving up the cost of living. As a result, Portugal has started rejecting residency renewal applications for some non-EU citizens who haven't met new, stricter requirements. If you were hoping for a cheap retirement in Lisbon or Porto, you might need to rethink your plans. 8. Italy. Italy has always been a dream destination for Americans. But in 2025, the government is making it much harder for non-EU citizens to stay long-term. The main issue? The Italian government is cracking down on people staying in the country without proper visas. Many Americans have been living in Italy on long-stay tourist visas without actually applying for full residency. But now, authorities are stepping up enforcement, issuing fines, and even deportation orders for those who overstay their welcome. If you're not legally working or studying in Italy, you might find yourself on a plane back to the US sooner than expected. 7. Spain. Spain has also been a hotspot for American retirees and digital nomads. But in 2025, the Spanish government is making things more complicated. New rules are limiting the number of visa renewals available to non-EU residents. And just like in Portugal, locals are frustrated with rising housing costs, partly fueled by an influx of wealthy foreigners. Some Americans who moved to Spain under the non-lucrative visa program, which allows residency without working, are now facing unexpected rejection when trying to renew. With Spain's economy struggling and job opportunities for locals in short supply, the government is prioritizing its own citizens. If you're an American living in Spain without a solid legal status, you might be asked to leave. 6. France. Americans love Paris, but Paris might not love them back. In 2025, France is making major changes to its visa policies, especially for non-EU residents. One big shift? The French government is tightening the renewal process for long-stay visas. If you're not actively working, studying, or investing in the country, getting a renewal could be much tougher. And if you've been staying in France on a visitor visa for years without making progress toward permanent residency, you might be forced to pack your bags. On top of that, with housing shortages in major cities like Paris, Lyon, and Marseille, the government is prioritizing housing for locals, meaning fewer options for American expats. 5. Germany. Germany has always had strict immigration laws, but in 2025, they're getting even tougher. One major change? Germany is cutting down on visa extensions for non-EU citizens who aren't actively contributing to the economy. This means that if you're an American living in Germany on a freelance visa or student visa without clear job prospects, your chances of staying are shrinking. Berlin, in particular, has seen a surge of foreign remote workers, leading to increased rent prices and local frustration. The government is now pushing policies to prioritize German residents, making it harder for Americans to renew visas or find legal loopholes to stay. 4. Sweden. Sweden has long been a welcoming country, but in 2025, it's taking a harder stance on non-EU immigration. One of the biggest reasons? The government is implementing stricter residency permit rules. Many Americans have been staying in Sweden under temporary work or study visas, but now, extensions are harder to come by. The Swedish Migration Agency is tightening the criteria for renewals, leading to more rejections and forced departures. Sweden is also cracking down on tax fraud among expats. If you're not properly registered or paying the right taxes, you could be facing an exit notice soon. 3. Norway. Think Norway is a peaceful escape for Americans? Think again. Norway is known for its high quality of life, but in 2025, it's making residency harder to obtain. The country has recently introduced stricter work permit requirements, making it more difficult for foreigners, including Americans, to secure jobs. On top of that, Norway's cost of living is sky high, and the government doesn't want expats straining social services. If you're an American in Norway without a solid job or long-term visa, you might find yourself getting a polite, but firm, goodbye. 2. Switzerland. Switzerland has never been the easiest place for Americans to move to, and now it's even harder. In 2025, the Swiss government is limiting the number of work permits given to non-EU citizens. That means fewer opportunities for Americans looking to work and live in the country. If you're already in Switzerland on a temporary permit, your renewal chances are lower unless you have a high-paying job or specialized skills. Switzerland is also increasing housing regulations to prevent foreigners from buying up too much property. If you were planning on settling in the Swiss Alps, think again. 1. United Kingdom. At number 1, we have the United Kingdom, where post-Brexit immigration policies are getting even tougher. In 2025, the UK is rolling out stricter visa renewal rules, especially for non-EU nationals. If you're an American living in the UK on a work, student, or family visa, expect more paperwork, higher fees, and fewer chances of an easy extension. One of the biggest changes? The UK is increasing the minimum salary threshold for skilled worker visas. That means if you're not earning enough, you might not qualify to stay. And if you're here on a visitor visa and trying to find a legal loophole to remain? Immigration authorities are cracking down hard. For Americans who've been enjoying life in London, this could be a wake-up call. Final thoughts. As 2025 rolls on, immigration policies across Europe are getting tougher, especially for Americans who have been living abroad without strong legal status. Whether it's housing crises, economic struggles, or political shifts, these 10 countries are making it clear, if you're not following the rules, your time might be up. Which country surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates on